first off, when they do movies after a long period of time and then they make the sequel, they usually suck. Second off, it's no way they would have beat Blade like that.
Everything comes from the darkness.
Alright, so I just finished Coming to America 2, and I'm not gonna lie, going into it, I always lower my expectations when they doing sequels when it's a big gap. The reason I lower my expectations is usually they don't be good because we didn't get to see the characters age gradually. So it's like they shoot a classic movie, then they come back 15 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later and try to redo it. But now all the people in it, they moving a little slow. You know what I'm saying? The spin move is it's slower now. So I'm looking at it and it never come off right to me. You know what I'm saying? But they did better than I thought they would, man. It was some funny parts in this. That's what's crazy. I thought I wasn't gonna laugh at all. But it was some funny parts. Like, it was a bunch of funny parts, and I don't know if it's definitely a different type of comedy, you know, than just you gotta like be in tune to laugh almost, you know, like just seeing Wesley Snipes' walk. Since they had a bunch of people show up too, I was like at first, but then I got it. Like when they kept having people show up and pop up, and it was just funny after a minute. Like, yo, they got these dudes, they just putting random people in it. You like, what the fuck is he doing in this movie? You know what I'm saying? But it was funny. Like, it was parts where I laughed at this movie. And it wasn't like I didn't think I was gonna laugh, because all these people in it that's funny. Tracy Morgan, Lisa Jones, Eddie Murphy, you know, of course Eddie, but all the people in it funny. So it's not like I wasn't gonna laugh because I didn't think they was funny. I just thought it was too much time for them to remake this movie. But they did it right. The storyline, predictable, but it's all good, you know. First time they come to America, this time they take it to Africa. Gotcha. They did push the lines with their comedy too. That's what surprised me. That's what really surprised me. Real talk. Because for them to do this movie, it's a lot of eyes on them. You know, it's a lot going on in the world. And typically, now in America, you don't have comedy that kind of takes shots directly at people racially. You know what I'm saying? Like, not now, because people cancel people down there, or they, you know, get to boycotting or whatever, you know, they want to do. In this, they went straight at people. Like, no, like different races. They didn't care. You know, the comedy was, it reminded me of the 2000s or the 1990s. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it reminded me of. When you watch that type of them movies back then, and the comedy in those movies, that's how this reminded me. Which was dope. It was like a breath of fresh air from a comedy movie standpoint. To me, in my opinion. Well, what else? The production was good. The production was good. Better than I thought because of COVID and all that. I don't know when they had this shot, but the production was better than I thought. I'm gonna say that. You know, I knew they was going back to Africa, and I'm like, okay, how this production about to look? You know what I'm saying? How they about to have it? And it seemed like they had a good budget for the film because the production was dope, and they still was able to put all these, you know, stars in the movie. So it was dope because they had a bunch of people coming out. The standout performances gotta go to Tracy Morgan, hilarious to me, and Leslie Jones. Them two to me was, everybody was funny. Everybody had their funny parts, funny moments, you know. definitely Wesley Snipes with that walk. I'm like, ah, my God. It was just funny because it's like, this Wesley Snipes with this little goofy walk. But, Leslie Jones and Tracy Morgan, they was hilarious to me. Them two, they was hilarious. You know, and with all the people that came into it, all the stars they had hop in it, nobody really had a long time to really develop at all. That's one thing about those type of movies, when you have a bunch of people hopping in, stars and people we know. It's like, okay, we know them, and it's like the shock factor, but they don't develop any of these characters, you know. So that's the one part where it's like, they don't really develop, except for the main characters. They developed them, but you know, a lot of people that just popped up in it really didn't have no type of development for the characters. And with that being said, that make it even harder for you to stand out. Tracy Morgan only in like maybe 10 scenes or something, you know, because he don't be in it for the whole beginning. Then he show up at the apartment, then, you know, he missed some time, then he show up in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's big chunks of the movie that he not even in at all. You don't even see his face, you know. So it's hard for you to stand out, but both of them did a good job. Leslie Jones, she was funny too. You know, that part where Eddie Murphy was like, yo, I was laying on the couch, and then it was like a bull attacked me. He said something like that. I was like, oh my God. That was hilarious. But it was dope. The movie was dope. It was better than I thought. Now, out of 7 stars, I do 7 stars. If you see this, put in the comments, what would you rate the movie? Alright? Out of 7 stars, I gave it a 4.8. Alright? It ain't bad. It ain't a bad movie, but I'm a tough critic. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna just give it a 6 or something like that. It's a good movie. It had funny parts to me. You know, the things that I thought lacked in it was a super creative storyline, right? And then character development for certain characters. You know, just a little more development. That's something I thought lacked. Of course, it ended with the Soul Train line. I could have predicted that shit. Like, yo, tell me how you think it's gonna end. Who in it? Okay. Soul Train line. Straight up, like, you can't make it up, you know. But I like what, you know, it's crazy. I know it's coming, but I still like when they did it. That's how I go though, man. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about the movie. It's Mac the Guru. This is my Coming to America 2 review. Make sure you subscribe and check out other content I got on the channel. As always, y'all be easy, be safe. Peace.